I hope that the time, I hope that the time that we have together will be beneficial to you. It is something that I continue to focus on since time is so precious a commodity. My my objective has always been that when I interact with people, anyone, I would like that time to be of value to them, useful to them. So again, welcome. And just a quick introduction. I'm Mazuki. I'm a Neuro-Semantics trainer and meta coach, and I also represent Malaysia in the international leadership team of the International Society of Neuro-Semantics. In the 60 minutes or so together, we'll be discussing on the importance of presentation skills. Then I will go into key elements of effective presentations, mastering delivery techniques, elevating your presentation skills, and we'll have the conclusion and Q&A. Now, it will not be in that order, especially the last one, because what I will do is I will pause for discussion at about the halfway point. Because at that point, I would like to invite you to bring your questions and comments and contributions into the breakout rooms, where you'll be able to connect and share ideas. In that way, whatever that you may have thought about that first part of the presentation, then you can quickly verbalize it and then be able to internalize it. As usual, I would like to give my warning to everyone here that my style is to be light and humorous. So if I laugh or smile, I'm never laughing at you, but at our own silly human qualities. My purpose is to lighten things up, reduce being serious, and be more real. So before I begin, I would just like to honor all of you for being here. I appreciate your time, your energy for being here. And we have people like Cheryl joining us from Australia down under. However, I'm quite concerned that your video is not upside down. They keep saying down under, but your video is the right way. Oh dear, now, now you're going upside down. And then I also like to, on the other side of the world, we have Father James all the way from Spain. So it's wonderful to have everyone here joining us. So let's begin. Yeah. First one is the importance of presentation skills. Before I continue, just to remind you to switch off your mic because there is that feedback just now. So thank you very much for that. So why are presentation skills important? Now, a thought that I would just like to throw at you is that effective communication is the fuel that powers personal and professional success. Strong presentation skills contribute to career growth, influence, and confidence. And when I look at my own personal experience as well, now, in my past life, I was an engineer, a civil engineer, and I specialize in soil improvement. And I thought that engineers, we do the engineering design kind of things. However, being so specialized, I end up not just doing the engineering design, I need to meet with consulting engineers, main contractors, and clients. And in doing so, I need to present these engineering designs so that they can learn about this new technique. So basically, not by design, but by the need of the job, I started doing presentation. So yeah, that goes to show why presentation skills are important, not only to professional trainers, but people who are just doing whatever work that you're doing. There will be elements whereby you need to present your ideas. So what are the benefits of mastering presentation skills? I mentioned to you three just now. It enhances career opportunities, it amplifies your influence, and also boosts self-confidence. In the area of career growth, so these are some, I'm not putting all of them, but these are three points that I'm bringing to your attention. In terms of career growth, when you can present your ideas clearly, persuasively, and confidently, you become a valuable asset to your organization. And for those of you who are working for a salary, to be able to present your case for a raise is very important. Don't you think so? So that's part of career growth and development. The next is about influence. A compelling presenter captures the attention and engages emotions and conveys messages persuasively, right? And in terms of confidence, as you practice and refine your ability to speak before an audience, your comfort level with public speaking improves. Now, this newfound confidence extends beyond presentations because it positively affects your overall self-assuredness. So this is the part of, in Neuro-Semantics, we call it self-efficacy. Having the confidence of speaking, it gives you, it lends you that good feeling when you are doing something new and learning something new. And I remember in my old, so I'm putting my hand as far back as possible, in my old engineering days, that as we confidently present our engineering design, and the clients will ask, so Mazuki, can you do this? Yes, we can do it. Actually, at that point, I didn't know how to do it. But that part of self-confidence allows me to go back and go through the books and the research, because even though I don't know how to do it at that point in time, but with that self-confidence, I know I can learn it from people who know. So that self-confidence lends itself into other areas. So strong presentation skills empower you to communicate your ideas with impact, positioning you as a capable and influential professional in your field. On the flip side, if you do not have the skills in presentation, you can even undermine your own efforts. Yeah, and I have given this example over and over again, whereby I was engaged by an organization to train for the new performance management system, and people were so upbeat about it because they are learning something new. And when the CFO came to officiate the training, missed the boat, missed the point altogether, and brought the energy of the whole room down because of that, I would say, incorrect way of communicating the intention of the performance management system. And I had to spend half the day to bring the energy of the participants up again. So when a person doesn't have that skill, they can also shoot themselves in the foot. Okay, so let's take a look at the definition of presentation skills. So what are presentation skills? A concise definition is presentation skills are the art of effectively conveying ideas, information, or messages to an audience. For what purpose? So what? To understand, so that people can understand and respond resourcefully. and they can respond in the way that is intended. So that's what when I look at presentation skill, it is about communicating to people in a way, whether small groups or larger groups, in a way that they fully understand the intent, the object of your communication, and they respond to what it is that you intend that for. So that, to a large degree, I would say that not so much because I think the issue here is that when we use the word presentation skills, people tend to think that it is one skill. It is not one skill. It is a whole set of skills. So when we talk about presentation skills, especially from the neurosemantics perspective, we have identified, I hope this is good news to people who like details. People who dislike details, this will be bad news to you. Okay, because one is that in neurosemantics, we have identified 7 core skills for presentation. 7 core skills for presentation. And that is why next year in June, we'll be having the neurosemantics trainers training. So the 7 core skills are part of what you will learn. Yeah. So Selina, you are in the room. So that's part of what you'll be learning in NSTT. In a short while, I'll be mentioning about the 7 core skills. Apart from the 7 core skills, there will be 25 enrichment skills, 5 relational skills, and also 2 keynote skills that you'll be learning in NSTT. So the reason why I want to take some time to mention this is that when people underestimate the skills involved in presentation skills, then they delude themselves thinking that, oh, it's so easy, and then they stumble. Once you know what it takes in order to present, and you learn it one piece at a time and practice one piece at a time, then it becomes a piece of cake, as you say it. So let me just inform you regarding the 7 core skills of presentation. One is rapport, relationship, because you want to build rapport and relationship with the audience. So that's the first core skill. The next one is engagement. You want the audience to be engaged with the presentation, with you and with the presentation. So that's the second core skill. The third core skill is meaning, content. So what is it that you want to bring in terms of the content that will be useful for the audience? Without that meaning content, it becomes like a hollow, something hollow, like a tin. You hit on the tin, you know it is hollow. There is not much value that the audience can take. So you need to have that content right. Then we have meaning in terms of framing. Framing allows people to think in a way that makes it easy for them to understand, that makes it easy for them to assimilate that content. So that's what framing is all about. Then it is about experiencing it. So one of the core skills is to induce the audience in the state that makes that learning and understanding the material easy for them, so that they can take away useful content for them. And another one is voice articulation. Now, if I were to be speaking only at one particular volume and at a particular pace, and it becomes so monotonous, it makes it difficult for people to take that information, because the articulation allows people to chunk the information and take the information at the sizes that suits them. So that's what voice articulation is all about. And then one of the 7 core skills of presentation is semantic choreography, meaning to say using your whole body and the space around you to anchor meanings, so that you are communicating meanings to people just through space. So those are the 7 core skills of presentation that we in Neuro-Semantics have identified. So you're going to have a lot of fun learning all of this. And the reason why I'm bringing it up to you is that it is for you to appreciate that there are so many skills involved, and it is something that when you learn it one at a time, it allows your skill in presenting to develop gradually. Yeah. So next one is that about the content creation and organization. One of the core skills is about meaning content. So how do you craft compelling content in a presentation? I'll just give you 3 bullet points here. One is that first you need to have a clear structure. The reason why you want to have a clear structure is so that the audience can take that information. When there is a structure, they know where to put that piece of information. Otherwise, that information will just be bouncing off inside their head. So when you have a clear structure, they take that information, they know where to put that information, and makes it easy for them to access. Yeah. For example, how many of you in this room frequently looks for your keys, car keys, before you go out? I'm not talking to Kit, because Kit just calls Uber or Grab. But those of you who drive, how frequently do you look for keys? And for many people, the reason why they have to look for keys is that because they don't have a structure where to put the key. Once you have a structure, you come home, that's where you put the key. And before you go out, that's where you take the key from. So similarly, in a presentation, you want to have that clear structure. You have the introduction, you have the body, and you have the conclusion. With the introduction, you begin with a clear and engaging introduction that sets the stage for your presentation. So that's the frame you're setting. Then in the body, you organize the main content of your presentation into a well-structured body. Each key point should have its own segment, and transitions between points should be smooth. You do not want to have a jarring transition. Without any transition, it will be so jarring that the audience do not know where to put that information. Yeah. And then at the end of it, you want to have a conclusion where you summarize the key takeaways from your presentation in a concise and impactful manner. The next point here is that your content needs to be relevant and engaging. Yeah. Relevant and engaging content. First is you need to know your audience. Tailor your content to the needs, interests, and expectations of your specific audience. So that's why part of presentation for us to, when we are presenting, for us to know what are the expectations of the audience, and we give it, we deliver our presentation according to the expectation, then that presentation will be useful to them. The next one is to address pain points. What's the problems that they are facing? And we want to address those. Identify the challenges or the problems your audience is facing, and offer solutions or insights that directly address these issues. Next one is storytelling. Storytelling. Tell stories. Humans have, for ages, we went through that storytelling phase, and we are still doing that now. Incorporate relatable stories, examples, or case studies to make your content more relatable and engaging. And for those of you who are familiar with me, what stories do I normally tell? Grasshopper story. Okay, and even until today, I have clients who have retired more than 10 years, still ask me, how's Grasshopper? It's memorable when you bring stories into your presentation. And probably the fourth one that I just want to mention to you in terms of relevant and engaging content is to have variety. You want to mix different types of content such as facts, statistics, anecdotes, and quotes to keep the presentation dynamic and engaging. Okay. And the third point I'd like to mention is visual aids such as charts, images, and videos. This gives visual clarity. Using visual aids like charts, graphs, and diagrams, you can simplify complex information and enhance understanding. One of the, I would say, rule of thumb that I use is the 7 plus minus 2. 7 plus minus 2, when I present information, the information should be 5 main points or less, because that's how they take it in visually. Yeah. Engagement, to incorporate relevant images that evoke emotions and provide visual context to your content. Multimedia, if it is relevant, to integrate videos and animations when appropriate. So when I don't have animations, then I am the one who becomes the animator. And guided focus. So with visual aids can help the audience to go to that information that you want them to focus on. And another one that I am with my a little bit of ADD over here is that you want to have design consistency. Maintain a consistent design theme throughout your visual aids to ensure a professional and cohesive look. So if you were to notice at the keynote that I'm using in terms of colors, I will use for text, it will be black, white, or the two Neuro-Semantics colors. I don't know the names of those colors. However, I have it in hex form to make sure that I get those colors. So because I mean, there are times that we want to have all sorts of colors of the rainbow in our design. However, if you have to go through 59 of those slides, then you go cross-eyed after some time. So you want to make it easy for the audience. Yeah. So in terms of the content design, I frequently use this framework. We call it the format framework. Format referring to the 4 questions that we ask ourselves when we want to make a presentation. First question is why? Why should the audience listen to this? Why should they be there? So the first 2 minutes, we want the audience to be able to get their why of listening to the presentation. Next is the what. So that will be the content itself. And then we have the how to use that material. And last but not least, the if. This is thinking slightly out of the box. So what else can I bring? So when we design our content in this way, it makes it wholesome, it makes it complete for the participants. Okay, so I've covered one is on the importance of presentation skills. Next one I covered was benefits of mastering presentation skills, definition of presentation skills, and also content creation and organization. So what I would like to do next is to throw all of you into a breakout room so that you can have fun discussing about to share your reactions about what we have covered so far. What did you learn from what we've covered so far? What do you feel about what was presented? So are there any moments of joy or happiness as you went through this? Are there any moments of sadness or frustration? Or are there any moments of curiosity? So we are going to go into the breakout room. Let me stop share and then begin begin creating the breakout rooms, and you'll be in the breakout rooms for about 5 minutes. Take the time to introduce yourself to someone, and then what you do is to just share your reactions about this. You'll be there for about 5 minutes, and what I will do is get to make sure that everybody's to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to speak. So I've got maximum 4 people per room. In that way, you'll be able to have an opportunity to speak. So I'll see you in 5 minutes time. Okay, so have fun and enjoy yourself. Hi, Della.
Della was my partner.
Azuki, 5 minutes tak cukup cannot. I want
Half
the
the
time to be
story.
panjang. Yes, I can speak Malay now. No, I want to go KL. I must learn how to speak Malay again.
Okay, next breakout, I'll extend that a little bit.
Yeah, because
So
Malaysia
very
boleh, right?
generous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So I guess we have everybody back here. Oh no, not yet.
Not
Some
yet.
people are still in the breakout rooms. Yeah.
Very
Okay.
good.
Right. So, hi Bella. Baru nampak Bella. So, welcome back. I hope that you had fun. Part of so when we talk about presenting with impact, the impact here, we are looking from the perspective of the audience, not from the perspective of the presenter. So it is not about the presenter making all of those grandiose noise and all that. It's about the information, the learning, touching the audience. That's the impact that we are talking about. So when we have a presentation that engages the audience, like even though we are having it using Zoom, we have the facility of the breakout room. It allows the audience to do what is called output learning. Listening to me speaking is just input. For that information to have an impact on you, you need to verbalize it to bring it out. So that's output learning. So that's what we are referring to as a presentation that creates impact. Okay, so let me just continue with a few more points.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm from room 1. We are in the group. And I think what we are aligned and we like so much is the model that you share, like why, what, how, and if. So for the if part, right, I think 2 of us actually find that we didn't do enough or never do it. So maybe I like that if you can elaborate a bit or share with us more in depth about the if part.
Okay. What I will do is I will, at the end of the session, I will debrief this whole presentation from the perspective of the format.
Okay.
Okay. So it will be by way of demonstrating that. So I hope that will be useful for you, really. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So moving to the next point is that when we present, how are we communicating verbally? So how do we enhance our verbal delivery? So I'd like to bring to you a few techniques, 3 techniques that you can use in order to enhance your verbal delivery. One is the tone and pitch variation. We want to have that variation. When you speak to your friends, there is that variation in tone and pitch. So what we are talking here is that variation in terms of accent. So now I'm talking with my normal voice. Now, when I tell grasshopper stories, then I will attempt to mimic her voice. It's a happy grandfather. So you vary that accent. Rhythm as well. There are times that you go faster. There are times that you go slower. Emphasis, to use that voice to emphasize on certain words, and then to vary the speed of voice. So these are what you can do: accent, rhythm, emphasis, and speed that allows you to vary the tone and pitch of your presentation. Next is articulation and pronunciation. Now, this involves by articulating and pronouncing in the right way, it gives the person the clarity of understanding. It allows you to emphasize ideas and words, and also anchor state, because when we communicate, we want to communicate the state of whatever subject that we are at. So articulation and pronunciation allows us to anchor states and to be able to make ideas more dramatic that way. And the third one I just want to share with you is about using pauses for emphasis. So as a presenter, you don't need to be speaking at 150 words per minute without taking your breath. You know how to take your breath while you're speaking. No, we don't need to do that, because people breathe. And as people breathe, they need to pause. And as you're speaking, you also want to pause, to also have the ability to hold silences dramatically. Because there are times when you say something, people need time to process. So be comfortable with that silence, because you hold that space for them to process their information. And when it comes to online presentations like what we have here today, the audience are mainly focusing on the visual and also the auditory. So there is not so much of the kinesthetics in terms of the presentation. And in terms of visual, there is how many of you are able to notice my hand gesture? So now I'm deliberately bringing it up. So in terms of the gesturing as well, it is not that evident. So that is why the verbal delivery, you need to have that tone and pitch variation, the articulation, the pronunciation, the pauses, because they need to make up for the loss of the non-verbals. Okay, so with that verbal delivery, we move on to the next one, which is the non-verbal communication. Now, this is extremely powerful when we have in-person meeting, because when we have in-person meeting, you have access to whole body information. So now you are using your whole body to carry the information or the communication that you have with the audience. Body gestures speaks volumes. Body gesture is a non-verbal communication tool that can convey emotions, attitudes, and intentions. Now, I deliberately use the word body gesture instead of body language, because there is no standardization of what a gesture means. So that's why it is not a language. So you have to delve into the particular culture in order to understand what that gesture is. So that's why I avoid using the word body language, because language seems to indicate that there is a standardization. There is not. Okay. Another one is effective gestures. Gestures enhance your verbal communication and can emphasize points, clarify concepts, and engage the audience. So when it comes to gesture, you also want to be a little bit minimalistic in the sense that you gesture when you want to make a point. You do not want to be gesturing all the time as if you are rapping, because there is no semantics to those movements. So you get your hands away from your face so that your body gesture doesn't get in the way of the words. So we gesture according to the semantics, to the meanings of the words. And the third one that I would like to bring to your attention is the power of eye contact. Eye contact establishes a strong connection with your audience and conveys confidence, sincerity, and credibility. So understanding that, I managed to debunk the old myth. Yeah, this was what I was taught when we first learned about making public speaking. What they say is that, oh, if you are nervous speaking in public, don't look at the people, you look above their head and be speaking there, and you will lose all nervousness. However, once you understand the power of eye contact and you look above their heads, then you are not speaking to them, you are speaking to the wall behind them. So learn to speak to one person at a time, holding eye contact with one person for about 1 or 2 seconds and move to the next person and the next person, not even sweeping. If you sweep, the audience knows that you are not looking at them. So catch everyone within your eyesight. So I take off my specs, I see blur. So within your eyesight, hold eye contact one person at a time. Now, the next one is nervousness. How many of you get nervous when you present? Put up your hand if you can. Yeah, I do get nervous all the time. Yeah, thank you. All the time, because my nervousness is, will I be able to benefit the audience when I am engaging with them? So that's what my nervousness is all about. So there are several ways that you can do in order to overcome that nervousness, because too much nervousness will cause you to not be able to deliver what you need to deliver. So one of the things that you can do is deep breathing techniques. Go into the employ controlled deep breaths to elevate those nervousness and enhance your composure during presentation. Breathe from your belly. So that by breathing, it gets rid of that nervousness. And for some people, visualization techniques are useful in order to build confidence. So utilizing mental imagery to envision successful outcomes, boosting your self-assurance and readiness to present. And another one is positive self-talk. So it's positive self-talk, not the negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is that I won't make any mistake. I won't make any mistake. And you will make mistakes. So positive self-talk is useful for some because you are cultivating an inner dialogue of encouragement and optimism to yourself. Now, just to share with you, for those of you who will be going to NSTT, there are 9 preparation patterns in Neuro-Semantics trainers training that just takes away all of that nervousness. And when we say patterns, you are programming yourself in order to not be nervous unduly. One pattern, so I'll just ring out all of this pattern. One is the uninsultability pattern. To be there and not feel insultable. So we call it uninsultability. So regardless of what the audience response is, it is not about me, it's about them and the feedback that I'm getting. Another pattern that we program ourselves is gloriously fallible pattern, to be able to, make mistakes and not take it too personally. So that's a gloriously fallible pattern. The other one is the core question pattern that we as a presenter ask ourselves in order to fully understand why we are standing at that spot in that particular moment in order to serve the needs of humankind. Then the pattern of presence of mind under pressure. Yeah, to be able to have that presence of mind under pressure. And just to give you this anecdote, if any one of you have ever conducted training and suddenly your resources goes poof. Yeah. We had the situation, I and my wife had the situation about to start off presentation, blacked out. No electricity, so you can rely on your PowerPoint presentation, no mics whatsoever. So presence of mind under pressure. And we continued with the session, just got the candle from the hotel, and then just use the flip charts, whatever that was mechanical that we can use. Yes. Yeah. When you have that presence of mind, it doesn't matter what life throws at you. Then the other pattern is personal efficiency, releasing judgment, accepting incompetence in ourselves, being fully centered and getting real. So these are some of the preparation patterns in Neuro-Semantics trainers training that you can learn. Next one is engaging audience. How do you engage your audience? One is ask thought-provoking question. Engage your audience's natural curiosity and stimulate their thinking by posing insightful and intriguing questions. As neurosemanticists, we are familiar with the well-formed outcome questions. We are familiar with the meta-model questions, and we are familiar with the meta questions. All of these questions will bring the audience to go inside and be thinking for themselves. Share relevance. The keyword here is relevance, not just any story, relevant to that particular point that you are making at that point in time. So you weave relatable and compelling narratives into your presentation to illustrate key points and create a personal connection with your audience. And I personally like to bring my own personal stories, because especially when there is a funny take to a story, I would rather that people laugh at me rather than we laughing at other people. So if there are elements of silliness or even stupidity, let it be on my on my account, not be on other people's account. And the third one over here is to use multimedia for impact. People consume multimedia content, so use that to for impact, to enhance your message with visual aids such as images, videos, or slides to reinforce concepts and capture attention effectively. Now, next one that I would just like to mention is adapting to different audiences. Our audience comes in different shapes and sizes, different ways of thinking. So you want to tailor your presentation according to your audience. So the first thing is to research your audience. Gather insights into your listeners' demographics, interests, and preferences. Their age group also comes in. Their experience background comes in. For example, when we are preparing for the Neuro-Semantics trainers training, one of the questions that we ask registrant is that, what is your intention of coming for this training? Do you want to become a neuro-semantics trainer? Do you want to, are you involved in your organizational training, or is it for personal development? So we want to be able to tailor it accordingly. Yeah. So that's the first one, to research your audience. The next one is to adjust language and examples. Modify your vocabulary and illustrations to match your audience's familiarity and ensure clear comprehension. And especially when speaking in English, be mindful that English is not one language. We have the Central London British English. We have American, we have Australian, and for us here in Malaysia, yay, we have Manglish. So be able to use them. And for me, the Kelantan dialect also comes in. That's part and parcel of my upbringing, because it creates that rapport with the audience. And a third one here is address specific needs. Identify and acknowledge the unique concerns or requirements of your audience, because this demonstrates your attentiveness to their individual situation. So in that way, when you give examples, you give examples that pertains to their particular needs. Okay. Now, what if something unexpected happened? Yeah. So how do you deal with challenges? So first of all is to stay calm and flexible. As they say, stay calm and eat cake. So maintain the composure and adaptability in the face of unexpected situations, ensuring a smooth presentation experience. Now, coming from the engineering background, we have this thing called Murphy's Law. Yeah, for those of you who are familiar with Murphy's Law, it roughly states that if something can go wrong, it will go wrong at the worst possible time. So put it into your planning. Take into account that something might go wrong. So what do you need? So if your presentation requires you to bring your own PA system, you bring double. In case one set fails, you want to have the other set. So you have a computer and you need to access data inside there. Bring your backup disk. That allows you to stay calm and flexible. Prepare for technical glitches. We depend on technology nowadays, and the thing about technology is that one thing that you can guarantee about technology is that it will fail. The only question is when. Yeah, so with respect to, I mentioned to you data, my most important data, I have double backups of the most important data. I don't just rely on my trusty laptop. It's trusty. I've never had to use to, there was one particular time that I had to use the backup, and I'm glad I had that backup. Yeah, and to navigate difficult questions gracefully. The thing about difficult questions is that the tendency for presenters when they get asked difficult question, so this comes to our own beliefs and mindset about people. Some presenters, they may think about difficult audience. The difficulty is not in the audience. The difficulty is in our lack of skill in handling that particular behavior. So when we have this mindset that there are no difficult audience, it's just that I may not be competent enough in dealing with certain behaviors, that gives us a more anchored approach to things. We don't react. We just take things as they come. Yeah, and be comfortable about when difficult questions come, be comfortable about saying to them, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. Don't try to fudge it. Yeah? So this is how we are real. Okay, so let me just recap what I've covered in this session. And what I would like to recap, Lily, you asked the question to show you an example of the format. So I'd like to recap using the format. So you have the why quadrant, the what quadrant, the how quadrant, and the what if quadrant. And in this presentation for this evening, I started off with the importance of presentation skills. So that is in the why quadrant. Yeah. Then I went into the what. So I covered the benefits of mastering presentation skills, definition of presentation skills, content creation, and organization. So that answers the what question of the presentation for this evening. Next, I covered the how. So the slides on verbal communication, non-verbal communication, overcoming nervousness, audience engagement, adapting to different audiences. Those are under the category of how to present in an impactful way. So those are the how questions. And the last slide that I covered just now was handling unexpected situation. That covers the area of what if. Yeah, so those are basically what we have covered in this presentation. So next is I would like to invite you into the breakout rooms again. And Della, you asked for it, so let's add it a little bit more to to 7 minutes. Have fun in the breakout room based upon that final recap and conclusion. Have some fun and discuss what were your reactions to it. So let me just recreate the rooms and yeah, open all rooms. So I'll see you here in 7 minutes time. So have fun and then we can have our question and answers.
Very good discussion.
Alhamdulillah. Good. So welcome back, V, Su, Guat Ching, you are back.
V, where's V? Guat Ching and V were with me in the same room
Okay.
second time. Yeah.
And V, I'm seeing you for the first time. So
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. I actually got this link from my boss at
Huh?
work. So she was like, because we just finished a presentation at work and we were so nervous, and me and my colleague, so we were like, it was quite scary for us to present because it's the first time. And so she just in time this workshop came about, and so she was like, please join so we can learn. So because we have another workshop coming up, so that's why we're here today. Mhm.
Ah, right. Glad to have you.
You're
So
very lucky.
glad to hear that you had fun, and I'm just noticing Satria for the first time. So glad to have you. So let me just wrap up, and then after that we can have questions if you have any more questions. So to wrap up, what's the next step? So as one of the reasons why I mentioned to you that presentation skill is not just one skill, it's composed of many skills put together. So if you really want to increase your skills in presenting, just take one sub skill at a time and practice. Yeah. If you were to look at presentation skill as one whole big lump, then you are not doing yourself any favors. You are making it difficult for yourself. So that's why I took the time to itemize the skills, focus on the 7 core skills. When you have the 7 core skills, learn them, then you begin to build that. Now, those of you who want to accelerate your skills in training, so this is what we are having next year, the Neuro-Semantics Trainers Training. It is a training that is held only once a year. This is an annual event, and just look at the location. It's
Where kan?
in Malaysia.
Oh.
So in 24 is in Malaysia. 23 they had it in Cancun. That was in May. So from May to June we are having it in Malaysia, and we've not finalized the actual venue yet. That is in the hands of Danielle. She's the one who is heading that. Okay. Next is that I would just like to thank all of you for being here, and that ends my presentation. And let's take a little bit of time. Danielle, is it okay that we have a little bit of time for questions? If anyone has got any questions, just go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Bella, other question?
Not for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good, but then in our group just now we discussed like we are very technical, so sometimes that we are too technical. So when we want to deliver our presentation, we tend of a bit lost and worry about like what the audience will really wants if whatever we deliver.
Yeah.
So,
So this is where using, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Using the format, it is really helpful, because for me as well, coming from the technical background, we tend to focus on the what and the how. Sometimes we jump into the, okay, tell me how to do it, right? So, and because we are thinking that way, when we present, we want to tell people how to do it. So I was mentioning to Daniel just now, is that people have different ways of thinking. People whose meta program, the thinking pattern, is you use the epistemology meta program, the why spectrum of epistemology meta program. They want to ask the question, so what's the benefit for me listening to you? Why should I listen to you? Am I going to waste my time? So that's why we have the why. Then the people on that same spectrum, they are on the what. So they are just impatient. So tell me, what is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to say? So that's why we have the what. Then we have the what's the name of the meta program? The procedures and options meta program. So the procedures meta program will be impatient for you. So just tell me how to do it. So that's why we have the how. Then the options meta program. What else can I do with this? I'm not interested in the way that you're telling me. So how else can I do it differently? So you have the what if. So when we cover it from the why, what, how, and what if, then we are covering the 4 quadrants of these meta programs. Yeah. And we don't get caught in our own bias in presenting.
So the if is not so much only on the handling unexpected situation, but it will, and that is that correct?
So, for
So-
example, you give a presentation on something that is technical, and you have the SOP in order to handle that. You need to handle the what if. So, what if you were to do this according to the SOP? So, what will be the consequence? What if you don't follow this SOP? What is the consequence? Then they can wrap their heads around it, and they make their own conclusion. Oh, better to follow the SOP. If I don't follow SOP, I die. That kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marzuki.
Thank you. So if there are no more questions, and we have about 14 people in the room, Daniel, if you don't mind, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite each and every person to give their final remarks. I would like to hear what you have to say. So as usual, I like to start at the bottom of the screen. Guat Ching, go ahead. Anything that you would like to say before we end?
Thank you, Marzuki. I'm so happy to hear your section. It's so insightful.
Thank you.
It's a fun learning.
Thank you, Guat Ching. Yeah, thank you. Satya?
Yeah, hi, Nazuki. Okay, thank you. I think it's after quite some time enjoying your session. I think there's speaking insights is very useful. Because I'm in I do sales sometimes, in sales. So some of those things I practice, but I think this will add on to the effectiveness of what I do lah. I think excellent.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And Elvish, go ahead.
I would like to express my appreciation to Marzuki for introduce the humorous state at the evening times. so that's what we've been. So it's more than learning. We have so much fun here while we're picking up the information. The format is definitely a refresher for me, because next month I'm going to facilitate a content called Finding Your Purpose for a group of youth. So yeah, so I'm going to use the format. Okay, so why it's important and all that, yeah, to do the facilitation. Thank you so much for the sharings and being so generous. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvish. And Lily, go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank Marzuki for sharing all this with us. I think for me, I really find this is very added value to me, and actually very generous. You always share your knowledge, and I always pick the ideas from you. And for today, I find that it's a reflection for me to understand like what I'm doing right now. Did I actually met all this? Because I did have some feedback to say that although my participants they are very happy, but of course from a friend who are seasonal trainers, she actually gave me some input, and that ties with what I have learned today from you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Right.
And so thank you to Elvish that was sharing this with me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Appreciate that. Della, go ahead. Della? Do you have access to audio, Della?
Yeah, sure. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, Della.
Okay, all right, finally. So, yeah, Uncle Mas, I don't know why everything that you say to me every time always hit me in the heart. Like, after I know we have meeting this morning, but tonight in the Zoom also I was thinking what we have state change also in Zoom. Yeah, so this is like a very new things to me, and in terms of your sharing, yeah, it makes me reflect on myself, like for especially for my health seminar. So it makes me think, does everything that I share to them is something that really, is it just me understand that thing, or is it the audience can really accept my presentation or can really understand my presentation. And in terms of like tailoring to the audience, that's my biggest concern. Tailoring to the audience, which is very, very hard for me to do at my, especially during my first talks. So for tonight, I think I can apply everything that you delivered tonight to hopefully most of my talks in upcoming. You know, we have like 1,000 more talks. So I really hope for it. And please send me more links like this so that I can join you guys every time. So this is a good sharing. Thank you very much for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Selina, go ahead.
Thank you, Matsuki. Thank you for the sharing. For me, the last few months is like fully focused on coaching. So it's a refreshment for me, like for next year NSTT, it's time to refresh yourself about presentation skill. So thank you for having this section. So for me is like to kickstart refreshment. Thank you.
Thank you. Father James, go ahead.
First of all, thank you, Masuki, for bringing me in, even if I'm from a different part of the world. And Elvis, hello, Elvis. Nice to see you. And thank you for this opportunity of learning. I mean, being here in Spain and being far away, I don't have a community that goes into coaching. So although I'm trying now to teach some people here, I'm still in the process of learning the language. It's quite difficult. But thank you very much for this opportunity of being with you and learning.
Thank you, Father James. Appreciate that. Next, Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah. Masuki, thank you. Can we get a copy of those slides? Because the one thing that I found very, very interesting was the 7 points that you started out with, and actually mapping that back against training knowledge that I've already got and having a look at that at some of the things that I'm going to be delivering over the next few months so that I'm mindful of that before I come to do the training.
Okay.
That would be good. So thank you very much.
Sure, I'll do that. Danielle has the list of the people who sign up, so she can send it to you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Cheryl. And V, you are next.
Hello. I really would like to thank you so much for actually giving us the most amount of tips within 1 hour, because I know how hard it is to give information, especially when you have a lot to talk about within an hour. So the tips that you've given us, like the way to engage with the crowd, and also like, the formats and everything. And, hopefully I can actually take this into practice and give a good workshop in the next time that I actually do it. So thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And Kit.
Always a pleasure to be attending your class. I just need to find the time to be here. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad that you found the time. And now because I don't know what name that you go by now, Della, Danielle, you go by Danielle or Della now? But I know you as Della.
Della, I'm always Della. And Daniel is like a stage name, just Vainport. That's all. Thank you, Mazuki, for organizing this. Yeah, there are a lot of pointers that I need to refresh. So I find it fantastic that you put it, everything in a capsule. Yeah, so it's fantastic. And for God's sake, greetings for ISNA. I'm from Australia. Yeah, the other chapter in Australia. So that's fantastic. Just for everybody's information, I knew Mazuki at NSTT Auckland. That's almost 15 years ago. So if you're considering, don't need to consider, just come. I can tell you the power of it and how much you can get out of it is so fantastic. Okay, so it raises you to the next level. My real job that puts food on table, I'm a curriculum designer. I design courseware for people to train. So knowing the steps in presentation, which I do presentations now and then, but it gives me extra power when I'm designing the courseware. Like Mazuki said, variety. Did you have information? Do you have charts? Do you have quotations? Then I must remember that I need to pack that in. That makes it easy for the trainer. So it's not just one dimension, it's multi. Okay, so you can ask Mazuki, I really progressed from day one, NSTT to the graduation. So for all these years. So if you can make it, I'm really considering, I really want to come to NSTT 2024 in KL. I hope to see everyone. Cool.
See you next year. And last but not least, Danielle, go ahead.
I would like to say thank you to Mazuki for great sharing. I've learned a lot. Definitely, I can actually put into practice in my next presentation. I also would like to thank you, all of you, for attending tonight. And yeah, and I can see that you're enjoying yourself. And we also have next month sessions, and I will be sending the link, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. So before I hand the session over to you, I'd like to take photo of everyone. So if you would like to switch on your camera and do up your face a little bit.
Right.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's one shot. Another one. 3, 2, 1. How about a funny face? You would like to do a funny face? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now I lost my screen by doing that. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your being here. And over to you, Danielle.
Thank you, Mazuki, for the great sharing tonight. And I also like to thank you everyone for coming. So next, I'm going to do some announcement. If you are interested to know more about the NSCT 2024, you can actually screenshot the QR code on the screen that I'm about to share. And hope to see you next month. And good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Good
Mazuki.
night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. See you again, kid.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, V. Glad to meet you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bella. Thank you.
Thank you.